good. Just the two of us. Hey, singing castle. Hey, I'm a child of the 80s. You're a child of the 80s, right, Greg? I mean, it's your glory.
You're much older than me.
Oh, give me a break. I'm still in my 50s for another month and a half. So
you're a full age group over me.
I don't know. You strike me as kind of a Barry Manilow aficionado. I don't know, but I'm a big Manilow fan myself. So,
all right. Well, first off, we have to apologize because somebody in Chuck's office double booked him, and he was finishing up with a client. And
so sorry, everybody. Sorry, we're a little bit late. It probably reduced the number. Probably go, where's Chuck and Greg and Jesse, the other guy? And
Jesse is working on something. I'm going to talk about it in a little bit. He actually has something important he's working on for our litigation efforts, and Aaron may be in or not.
Maybe joining us, but Greg, let's talk about the number one issue for most folks today is the EB mandamus and wastage litigation.
Yeah,
so we have a shout out to a couple of our plaintiffs, right? I mean,
yeah. Let me first off so I think I had told somebody. I think they just got me probably when I was in a bad mood, but they said we weren't going to do the Zoom that we said we were going to do. We are going to do the Zoom tomorrow night. I just sent out an email to all the plaintiffs with the Zoom login instructions for tomorrow night at 6 Eastern time, where we will address Madhavan specific issues on there. So that's the first thing. We also we had something that's kind of changed. We had somebody. It wasn't actually from the Madhavan case. It was from somebody who helped us on another case, built a tool for us to make it much easier to scrape data on Madhavan and what's happening with our plaintiffs on that. So
it's an amazing tool.
Yeah, we have very detailed information now on what's happening with our plaintiffs. So I think what I'm going to do is just share this, and hopefully, I don't know how many people are actually live now because of the.
We got 20. That'd be fine.
All right. Well, but I'm figuring a lot of people are probably going to watch this in the recording anyway,
That's
so
fine.
it'll still be heard by a lot. But so we get this very detailed summary of what's there's actually 276 total case numbers that we're tracking, because a lot of people's family members are in it. So they're not, even though the number of plaintiffs was, named plaintiffs wasn't that high, that's how many we're tracking. And we also, so we get basically that status screen that you see when you plug in your case number. We're basically aggregating what that's reporting across the board. Now, one thing that's kind of annoying is that there are a number of status, and there are a number of instances.
Greg, are you sharing a screen? Because I can't see anything.
No, I'm just looking at it, but I can share it if you want me to.
Yeah, I think if you can share it, I think that'd be very helpful.
You have to. I think you have to. Well, actually, you have the link, Chuck. So why don't you show it? I'm going to give it to you right now in the private.
All right.
Part right here, and then you can share it from your side. It'll be easier. So hang on a second. Go to your little private chat. Can you see it?
I got it. I'm clicking at it right now.
Yeah.
I'm signing in as you. Here we go. Great. Let me go ahead and share that screen right here.
Are you all right? So did the login work for you?
It did. And I just need to move it off to the side here so I can have the choice of getting the right screen. There. All right. Perfect. All right. I get it.
We'll show this tomorrow in the Zoom also.
Yeah. So this is a terrific screen. I don't know why it's doing that flickering like that, but it is what it is.
All right. So let me just tell people before they like have an epileptic seizures reading the flickering there. But all right. So what we've done is we have all these different things. These are the different things that it will say if you plugged your case number in. Some of them are like identical, but different wording, which just leads me to believe that USCIS is sloppy on there. So that they might say that. But on there. The ones that are highlighted in green, those are people that are done. And so we have 87 that are done out of the 276. So it's about 30. It's a third have been, and we've been watching this every day and seeing. Well, we had one day where we had like 27 new people added, and then it's been like the last couple of days, it's been like four a day or so. We've had 2 people that were actually denied, and it's very possible that we don't know why that happened. It could be that they didn't respond to a request for evidence. It could be a lot of different things. We also know that there was one person whose case was reopened that was in here. So
it actually just says 1 denied now.
No, there's case was, oh, that's right. I'm sorry. There's 1 denied, not 2 denied. So we have 1 denied, and we had 1 that got their case reopened after they were denied. So it's still showing up in here, which is the person that was denied needs to talk to their lawyer and figure out the reason, or they may have just abandoned the whole thing. We don't know why that one person was denied. It doesn't tell us that. The other thing that's really, so there are a couple other notes on here. One is that we have 7 people with RFEs that haven't responded, or the USCIS hasn't logged their response yet. So if September 30th comes and you haven't logged, I mean, the longer you take to respond to your RFE, the less likely this litigation is going to benefit you.
Greg, I got a call about an hour and a half ago from an examiner in the Chicago office asking me why my client had not set in his medical exam on an RFE from May. So, I mean, Robbie, we're approaching the timeline that it's due, right?
Yeah.
Now, my particular client is an idiot and left the country on his advanced parole and let it expire.
Oh.
So, and he had no visa. So
yeah.
He's going to be constant. So I had to tell the guy, but the point was the officer called me asking for it.
Yeah.
I'm still picking my jaw off the floor.
Well, the officer may have very well been, was the officer at a field office?
Yeah, field office, Chicago.
Yeah, so that's a different story with those guys. They actually feel,
but that's where most of these cases are getting adjudicated, our field office.
Yeah, so we kind of have a theory of what's happening is that when the cases are being transferred to a field office, that's the last stop. And we think, this is what we think, that the cases are basically, a lot of it's already been pre-adjudicated so that they just have to check the final boxes off. And we haven't seen, I mean, that seems to be the cases that are getting approved are the ones that like after the transfers happened on there. That's when the approvals are happening. We know that there are 106 cases that have been transferred to other offices. And Chuck, there's also another line. This is another example of there's another one that there's a second line in here for transfer also on here. So there's a few more than that. And I don't understand why they have 2 different lines for a case transfer, but it's there. But anyways, so that's the biggest group. The other thing that we maybe have happened, and we don't know, is we know USCIS is reserving numbers.
How are they doing that, Greg? As we understand
it. People that filed this, that they did this reservation after this fiscal year started. So I think their logic is going to be that they're not doing anything about holding a number over from one year to the next. But they have basically pre-approved or said that people were eligible for the visa number, which is something contrary to what they've said in litigation, that they can't do that, but they are, which is good on there. We don't want them to be, when inconsistency is to your benefit, we're perfectly happy that they're being inconsistent on there. But what we think is maybe for this 106 cases, we're keeping our fingers crossed, is that those people already have the numbers pulled for them, and that they don't have to worry about retrogression in September or anything like that, which is also something that may be happening on there. But that's so for that group, I think that's those 106 people are probably in the best shape right now as far as what's likely going to happen. Well, you can see on the right, Chuck, go over to where it says in the table on the right and click on status since. That's the problem. Go back. There you go. No, go click it again. One more time. I want to show where it says 2020 there.
Yeah.
Those are what you can see for these cases is there are a number of people who have had no action since 2020 on their
At
case.
least according to the service's database,
Right.
which is not always accurate.
That's right. But what you can see on there is, I mean, there's some things that are interesting to see is that they, basically these cases seem to be frozen in time where fingerprint fees were logged in and nothing seems to have happened. They weren't transferred to other offices. There's no RFEs that were being sent. These are just cases that are gathering dust, it appears, on there, Chuck. And I don't know if looking at it, and it looks like that goes well into 2021 for a bunch of a bunch of people. Now that doesn't mean that's not when they filed their cases. This is just when the last law.
These are fingerprints. So looks like you got about 70 people that had fingerprints taken, and then basically nothing else.
Right. Those are the ones that we're going to be focusing on right now with the government on there, because time is running. Time is really ticking on those people, and we think that we've had this discussion this morning. We think that the government might think some of these people might not understand or figure it out that a lot of these people have that they have a upgrade or a downgrade that makes them eligible for the benefit. Now we want to make sure that somebody's actually like taking a close look at those. But those are the ones that right now, and this is why this tool is so helpful. It's going to make it a lot easier for us to be able to pinpoint, which of these cases the DOJ lawyer needs to figure out very quickly what's happening on it.
And Greg, just a note on that particular thing. I have reached out to the DOJ lawyer, and I'm scheduled to talk to her later today.
Yeah, I mean, Chuck, the other thing I'm wondering is maybe, I mean, this is all public, information. If you have the case numbers, maybe the DOJ lawyer could benefit from this tool.
Well, I was going to share this with her.
Yeah.
It's just public. There's nothing secret here. I mean, this is as helpful to us as it is to her.
Yeah, no, to the extent that it could get them moving more quickly on these cases and seeing this information. I mean, I would hope they would have a tool like this themselves, but I doubt it.
I agree. I doubt they have this tool.
Yeah.
Certainly they don't have it with all our clients' data in it. So
yeah.
Hopefully we'll be able to report tomorrow night my outcome of my discussion with government counsel. Obviously, our goal is to get everybody approved. That's the goal.
Yeah.
Secondary goal is to use all the numbers. They go hand in hand, right? So if immigration if they're really going to use all the numbers, obviously the people with the oldest cases, and that's the other thing, Greg, these are the people with the longest processing cases.
Mm-hmm.
There have been a lot of people who filed after October 1. We all know this, of 2020 that have been approved.
Yeah.
A lot have been approved. Oh, why? I mean, this is why the whole downgrade debacle and the supplement J and all that crap, I think that really confused the heck out of the people at the service centers. And I am pretty sure they're still not done processing these downgrades or upgrades, and that's the problem. Retrogression, who's current in what category. You would think they'd have a computer system that would just pop these out the door.
Yeah. Well, this is also going to be helpful in our arguments from the judge, because now we can show that there are a bunch of cases where there has been no action in 2 years.
Yeah, this tool will obviously be in our reply brief for the court to access, so you can actually see in live what's going on here and say, why are these cases you haven't touched in 2 years? I don't understand this.
Mm-hmm.
This isn't where the other ones you have. So we wanted to make sure everybody's updated on this. We're gonna spend a little bit more time on this on Wednesday night.
There's one other thing I'll say on this, and that is there may be some plaintiffs who don't actually have an upgrade or a downgrade and filed while the numbers were current and they've retrogressed. And for those people, and I think it's no more than just a handful of people that are in that situation on there who may not be adjustable until the priority date becomes current again, because they don't have another date that they don't have another category that they can transfer to. So
correct.
And it would be very helpful for us if we'll send out an email, but we need those people to self-identify for us so we can figure out, we don't obviously want to push for an adjudication for those people because they can't be adjudicated at this point. Those people benefit from a visa reservation, which is the other thing that we're asking for. So to the extent numbers get reserved and maybe the dates move forward for those people as soon as the fiscal year advances, they might be able to benefit from the litigation with a visa reservation when that happens. But anyway, that's that group of people we need to talk about.
All right, so we're going to be doing that, and we'll go from there. Okay. All right, Greg. We're going to stop the share.
All right, you want to move on to Ukraine?
Yeah, let's go to United for Ukraine. Actually, we have a different tag that we have for this. The Ukrainian EADs.
Right.
Now, do we have a case name, Greg? I got to ask you this first.
We not yet. I have I'm waiting to hear back from somebody who I'm not going to say who the person is, although the name it requires a little practice working on it. But
I've got it already.
I have it down too. On there, once you've said it 3 times, it's forever stuck in your memory.
Cemented into my brain.
But all right, so this case is we had been saying we were going to either file it yesterday or today. It's looking we didn't file it yesterday because but the case is done. We're just trying right now to clean up our plaintiff list. So I don't know if we have any people that are following that case that are here right now, but we are. Yeah, we're just trying to track down people. It is a pro bono case, and if people don't, we're going to eliminate a bunch of people from the plaintiffs list today, and we'll add them back in an amendment if we have to. So and because it's pro bono, it's a little bit simpler because we're not having to deal with like people having paid to be in the case and then they have to be taken out and all that. So but that case is ready, is hopefully going to be filed this afternoon. I know our office is right now still cleaning up the caption and cleaning up the plaintiffs list, but and then we need a name plaintiff. We have some candidates for that, and I will tell you it's going to be filed in Chicago, and that case will be that's 2 cases actually. The first case will be in Chicago. The second case will be in the Court of Claims in DC, seeking a fee refund for the I-765 fees. Hopefully, we're doing it in an order, so hopefully we'll get a good ruling in Chicago, and then we'll seek the fee refunds in DC. But that case, we feel pretty good as far as like the legal theory goes on it, and I'm hoping that the government like just looks at this and decides that this is a fight that doesn't make any sense for them, that they supposedly are trying to figure out ways to reduce their workload, and they're supposedly standing with Ukraine, and we don't know why they are making life so difficult for these poor people who are, and a lot of them, it's like, Chuck, I was, the declarations when we were looking out for the candidates for, you saw some of them as well, when we were looking for the candidates, just the Chicago plaintiffs that we were looking at yesterday to figure out who would be our named plaintiff. The stories were really pretty compelling.
Heartbreaking.
A lot of these people have little kids and they have family back at home, and they are, and their sponsors that are here. A lot of them are congregations that sponsored people to come here, and it's putting a financial strain on them. And we have a worker shortage in the U.S. It's just like the pain that's being needlessly inflicted on these people, on their sponsors, and on the country by USCIS, basically ignoring a law that Congress just passed a couple months ago, is just really hard for me to figure out what is going on and why they would be doing that, other than that it just takes them forever to make a decision on anything, except for the fact that other agencies that are required to administer this law,
and they did
on it like within a week and a half or 2 weeks, they already incorporated the law into their process. So USCIS doesn't get that. They don't deserve that excuse. And I am really, really looking forward to filing this. If there are any Ukrainians in the case that are here, we are looking for volunteers. I'll send out an email today as soon as we have our final list down. Volunteers to talk to media about the case, and you'll be hearing more about this. Hopefully it'll be in the news in a lot of places in the next couple of days.
We're hoping forward. I just can't believe they're making us sue them. I just can't believe that. I mean, no outreach. They clearly know we're doing it. This is not like a secret we've been hiding.
Yeah, no.
We reached out to the agency. So we followed Ur's recommendation. Just talk to us.
I know they know we're, you know how I know? Because one time, you probably remember this, we said something on this live stream, and USCIS monitors it apparently. and they told a government, an advocacy person to reach out to us to tell them how upset they were about something that I said on there. And it was like, and I said, I don't see any reason to apologize for something that it was factual that I said it on there. I'm sorry, I hurt their feelings.
Sorry,
but they definitely are on. They definitely know this is coming, and they are just ignoring it.
Oh well, you pay me now, pay me later. There we go. EB5, Jane. We have 3 different EB5 pieces of litigation. One of them, we're hopefully this is our adjustment of status. Particularly, we have adjustment of status EB5. We have a consular processing EB5, and then we have Jane, which is the 526 EB5. So we anticipate that the adjustment ones will all be adjusted by the end of the year. We're working with the government on a settlement, and I think we're going to come to terms on that. So we're good there. We've also got an offer outstanding to the government on the consular processing cases. About a quarter of our cases have been approved.
Yeah, there was news on that since your consultation.
Oh, really? I didn't.
Yeah.
I guess
they're not
amenable to help. Well, you know, that's why litigation exists.
Yeah.
And then the Jane case is different in that these are 526s. So this is the immigrant visa petition, but it's like an I-140, right?
Mm-hmm.
So what's interesting about this is they haven't done any of them. Unlike the adjustments and the CPs that they've done, they said they're working on, they're trying to get them done. They haven't touched these, which tells us one thing. They're not working on them at all. And so we are using this to get discovery. Now, typically, we don't have a right to get discovery or to ask questions or do depositions of the government in a standard mandamus. But this is not a standard mandamus. We're actually attacking the underlying rationale as to why they have not adjudicated cases. And so the court, when we asked for discovery, the government said no. The court said, you know what? I want you to tell me why you need it and tell me what you need. And I'm drafting this right now. It's due tomorrow. I'm drafting right now, and I guess it's due on the 18th. So I guess it's due on Thursday. I'm going to get it filed tomorrow. But what's interesting about this is I think the court's really going to let us have some discovery here, because they are, well, at least the way I'm writing it, they're looking worse and worse, is all I can tell you. Much like when you read the complaint in the Ukraine EAD case, you go, oh my gosh, what are you people doing? So I know, well, you know, that'll be good. And we're working on that. And just to keep the Jane folks updated, that's kind of where we are. The fight, it is a fight. They are clearly not doing them for almost anybody because they're probably got hands on deck doing 829s and doing the adjustments. They're just not doing it. And one of the questions, Greg, that we want an answer to is how many people work on this product line? I mean, these people are paying $5,000 a pop.
Yeah.
You know, you're buying 12% of the salary of one of the employees. How many? And they have thousands of these cases. Who's working on this? Anyway, so that's kind of where we are there. We're kind of excited about that. Greg, I'm waiting for Lily to get back to me on our Manila litigation. I know we're down to the last few people.
Well, yeah, I'll send her while you're talking.
I already did. I need to follow up with her. Maybe she already got to me while I was doing my consultation this morning. So, okay. And Greg, do I dare mention our visa fee litigation briefly that we are still?
Yeah, no, we're still working on that. It's this is I think as soon as the Ukraine one is in the books, then we can spend more attention on that. I'm working on that with Jeff Forney. And that's another one that will be in the Court of Claims in DC as a class case. The focus is going to be on people that paid for visas that, well, it's different groups, but basically people that got screwed over during COVID, where they paid visa fees and either never got appointments and were forced to pay a second, and then they forced them to pay a second time after a year. People that they were coming for a specific purpose and that expired, like summer work travel, and they paid for visas there. People paid CVIS fees for J's and F's when they weren't able to actually process those visas. Basically people who had job offers that were revoked because the process took so long, et cetera. Just basically people who paid for a service that they never got.
And Greg, interestingly enough, that's illegal.
Yeah.
The government's not allowed to take money and not give service. That's kind of illegal.
Yeah.
I would note, I have a brief mention from a colleague of mine today who hears that immigration will not be doing a second lottery. I don't see how that's possible, but I guess we'll see.
You know what? That actually might be interesting from a litigation standpoint. Do you remember Scott Pollock's litigation from years ago?
Yeah.
Scott was, he was soon to get numbers, but what he had discovered was that there were a number of years that they didn't use up nearly the numbers that were available. And I am guessing that if they're not doing a second lottery, they are not going to be issuing all those visas. They're not going to use up the numbers.
I don't know how they can be. I just don't see it.
Yeah.
So we'll have to force them to do it, I guess. But they are still, at least on one of our colleagues put a note up, that they had still not gotten a receipt from a June 30th filing. Still not gotten a receipt. That's insane. That's 45 days later on H-1Bs with all these checks in it.
Yeah, well, we may have FOIA. Maybe how we have to figure out what the real numbers are right now.
All right, I only got a few questions today. Contact the U.S. Attorney, yes. And we showed you all the latest updates. And thank you to the folks that provided that ability to do that. And we'll be talking to Prince of Vlogs? Is that what it is? It's just Prince Vlogs. It'd be cooler if it was Prince of Vlogs. And like Prince of Thieves. You get that, Greg. I know you do. It's a Robin Hood thing going on there. But we'll update you tomorrow night in detail on our move. Hope you're doing well. You think the U.S. got H-1B allowed? Well, they apparently told a lawyer friend of ours that they don't think they're doing a second one. So we'll see. There is no news on DV 2022 because we have oral argument in a month from today, Greg. Oh, we're gearing up. The court, this is funny. The court said, hey, you guys, now that we've combined 20 cases together, figure out oral argument.
That's all in person.
Yeah, it's all in person. You figure it out. What order, who does what, but I'm just excited that Jesse Bless is first on that podium no matter what.
Yeah, I may fly to DC just to watch.
Oh, it's going to be fun. It's in the same building we went to. It's a beautiful building. The courtrooms are beautiful. And the Circuit Court of Appeals room is very imposing. It's designed to be imposing. It's very, very imposing. Very, very stately, so to speak. Because we use unavailable and future feasible until the new fiscal year. Well, I don't know where you saw. I saw that they didn't end that. I think that's their prediction, but we'll see. We'll see.
Chuck, there was something going on with some people getting notices about they were checking on their status online and it said retrogressed.
Yeah, but what does that mean? And why wouldn't they have been assigned one of the visas?
I don't know on there. So I don't, and that hasn't shown up on our chart yet. As far as like none of our, I don't think anybody in our litigation has seen that yet.
No, we have not. So none of my clients have either. So Estelle Woodgate got a request for a DS 5535. Estelle Woodgate got a request for a DS 5535 at Johannesburg on a DV 2020. I will tell you from my own experience on DV 2020, DV 2022s and on DV lotteries.
Say what a DS 5535 is.
That's the additional background information on your life. It's like a deep dive into your life.
Mm-hmm.
Why somebody named Estelle Woodgate would have to do that, I don't know. That's not typical. Mm-hmm. But generally, I will tell you, consulates and South Africa has been really good this year. So I would suspect you'll hear back from them quickly. But if I was you, I'd be emailing them once a week. Find out what's going on. Some cases have fingerprints applied after the transfer. Oh, that's an interesting from Hano. You get it? Hanu Lulu. You get that, Greg, right? It's Hawaii thing going on there. Okay. Yeah, that's the thing about the computerized update. It's not always, what does it actually mean? Did they transfer and then fingerprints ran out, or they never got fingerprints before? I don't know. We have, all we can tell is what the screen currently says, because the online update doesn't have a history that goes with it.
Yeah, I don't understand why fingerprints would be coming
after.
Should
not have been done after. Now, transfer to where? To the local office? They shouldn't be going to the local office unless fingerprints have been done. Now, if you're talking between the service center and the NBC, I think that's a different issue.
Right.
Does that mean who have not been transferred to field office? Well, not according to us. And that's what we're going to try to find out from the government counsel on this.
No, but we do know that once it is transferred, those cases, we're seeing a lot of approvals happening there. So we obviously, when we see our plaintiffs that are being transferred to field offices, we see that as a good sign.
And Greg, we would know a lot more if USAS would publish their third quarter statistics. 45 days in. Let's see. Bo's getting the biggest number is the transfer to NBC. There's no status when the case moves to the field office. Status when well, that's not true. We just saw there's a status when the case moves to the field office. I was like blind.
No. The on there it doesn't say where it was transferred to. It just says case was transferred in a new office
jurisdiction. That's generally going to be the field office.
We are assuming that is field office
because they told us they've transferred all these cases to the field office.
Oh, right. So actually, Chuck, so I did find that other line. So there's 92 where it says case was transferred and a new office has jurisdiction. And there was 14 that says case transferred to another office. And I have no idea what the difference is between the two. You might have a better sense.
I don't see the 92 number on here.
It's the first line.
I have 106 as case was transferred to new office has jurisdiction.
You're looking at August 16th?
Yes.
So hold on. Well, it's the first line is 92. The second line is 57. Third is 38.
I have 106 in the first line, my friend.
That's dated. Refresh.
I did. I just literally just refreshed it.
Wow. Hang on. Oh. Wow. How did it? Oh, so you know what? That is really weird. I just refreshed also, and the number jumped up to 106.
Well, that to me is.
So this is only supposed to update once a day. Maybe it just did its once a day update.
This was the number since I've had this up. So
I had it at 19. Now it says 106, and I know it's. You know what he did? Our scraper fella consolidated those two into one.
Oh, okay.
Because 92 and 14 is 106.
Okay. And I
all right. So it is the same number. I mean, nothing's changed data wise, but maybe he's watching this. Thank you for that. In response to what I was talking about before. So it is, I guess he's just consolidated them into one line on there. So there's 106 that have been transferred to another office, and we don't know what office, whether it's NBC or a field office. But I don't think it really matters on here. I think when it is transferred, it means it's for final adjudication.
That's the way it should be. JCP ready. Has U.S. provided new numbers? No, not as far as I've heard at all. Basically, on how many EB1 spill downs? No, that's a great question because obviously there's EB1 spill downs, but we don't know. We don't know. Bose is back. Thanks for the effort. Looking at the oldest status first. Might not help as they change status. Just say transferred. Well, again, for those people who have literally had nothing happening on their case since 11/11/20, I think they deserve a little special attention, right? Basically, that's
those people, and those are all people that were in our Chakrabarty case.
Yeah, exactly. These are the fee receipts here. Okay, fingerprint fee
I mean,
received.
we've had a bunch of Chakrabarty people now that have been adjudicated, but these are
freaking Luya.
But we still have a we want everybody obviously to get done, but for those people in particular, they all still help everybody. Even though you may not see that they're that important, because they show people are not being adjudicated in order. And that's in fact, there was just a case that we heard about today where, not our case, but where where state or USCIS is taking the position that they can't do a mandamus for somebody because it would put them out of order on there.
Apparently, Chaitanya was not here for the first 20 minutes of our conversation.
That's okay.
Go back and listen to that. Okay. I don't know whether a judge could make a ruling. It must be nice to go to work. Well, that's a really interesting question. This is our K1 case, been pending for over a year on a motion to dismiss. Maybe he just said, I'm just going to sit on it until I decide all the cases, and I'm going to deny it and dismiss it as moot. He's pretty close at this point, which is ridiculous. I mean, but you can't force a federal judge to make a decision. We have given this guy all kinds of information, and he just keeps sitting on it. Say, Lovey? The panel for judges, we should know by early September. All right. Currently, we're seeing a status update, flight taken off. I don't know what. That must be talking about the combination of the two together. To come up with a 106, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Can't transfer to new office during flight arrived. Okay. But when it's transferred to NBC and NBC to field office internal transfer, notice status updated. No. I've seen field office updated on client stuff. So we'll see. Last question. A lot of cases showed NBC sitting there from their days. Well, that's now that we're going to put this in the hands of the government counsel has not seen anything like this. Probably doesn't really even understand how this works. So she'll see this and be able to talk to her client. What is going on here? Why aren't you doing these old cases? I don't understand. So we'll have more updates tomorrow. These wage plans, as they are not part of the PI. I don't know what he's talking about. Do you, Greg?
Well, I think he's talking about the ones that are depending on the rollover.
Oh, well, again, we've got our motion in, and
the ones that are depending on the visa reservation.
If there is one, and that litigation is ongoing, and
right.
We'll update that tomorrow night with the details and the timeline.
Right. I mean, our focus right now is maximizing visa usage. And there's a reason for that, which is that if we can force all the numbers to be used, yes, we don't need a reservation. I mean, there won't be a reservation of visas if all the visa numbers get used. However, that will mean that in the next fiscal year that starts in October, that the numbers, there will be the maximum number. I mean, there will be a smaller pool of people that need those numbers. We also know there will be based on some of our data crunchers, we think there's going to be between 40 and 45,000 numbers rolling over again. Not nearly the number that we've seen in the last 2 years, but a significant number. So, we're hopeful that we can maximize visa usage so that the people that need those, that don't get numbers this year and depend on October, that it's a smaller number of them, and that all of our plaintiffs who may be, if there are any of our plaintiffs left, we hope all our plaintiffs get their green cards. But if there are any left, that their chances would be better in October and November of getting their visas then, because there'll be a larger pool, a larger total number of visas from 45,000 rolling over, and a lot less competition from other people because the maximum number were adjudicated this year and nothing got wasted.
All right, let's see. We got any news about DACA? No. Any day. They said, supposedly in August. We'll see. Miranda. Expectation all lawyers will be on appeal. We expect to win, Miranda, on the DV lottery case. Here's your strategy. I've been transferred to the field office, so I'm more hopeful. Oh, if you're in the field office, I think you're golden. If you're at the field office.
Well, the thing is that here's what we don't know, and you might have missed this before, is that we may have, we think that a significant number of our plaintiffs already have a visa number reserved for them, that it was reserved probably in September, October, November, and that they are going to, as long as they adjudicate your case, that you're not going to have to worry about retrogression, and that the number is already there. So we think that cases that are being transferred are to the field offices are probably in that category of people that had a number already set aside for them. And all the examiner at the field office has to do is check the box that says everything's finished.
All right, great. I think that's it. I think we are good today. We'll see some of our clients tomorrow at 6 o'clock on the Madhavan case. And Greg, are you live on a Facebook this week?
No, but I might do a stream on the Ukraine stuff after the case gets filed. I might see about doing with Jesse and kind of answering questions.
I started teaching my class again at Emory Law School, so I will be doing my stream, but I'll probably have to do it a bit later in the day because I have to drive to Emory. They stopped the whole Zoom class instruction.
That's annoying.
All right, guys, have a wonderful day.
Take it easy.